Are we recording? All right, so, oh, here we go. Well, I guess I'll see it when I get finished with it. All right, so I'm still having some weird technical difficulties getting YouTube to work, which is, luckily it doesn't affect you guys very much. It just means that it's a little more technically complicated on my end. I can play with these fun background filters though, which is nice. So anyway, I don't really have too much I want to do today because I am about to be starting the grading slog for SA2. So I've got a lot of stuff on my plate right now. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I want you to start thinking about. And I can kind of sort of tiptoe into this conversation because this is a conversation that I always find a little bit bewildering. We're going to start doing some research stuff. And research for 1010 is a bit of a, well, it makes my head explode because it's something I'm really, really interested in. And for 1010, I like to try to make sure that I put, I need to kind of slowly walk through this because I can get very overwhelming with my excitement for research conversations and stuff like that. The main thing I want to just kind of like bring up in conversation, the first thing I want us to kind of sort of turn around in our heads is the fact that we are living in a very strange information ecosystem right now. It's harder than ever for us to understand how information can be verified, and it's there's a lot of different ways that you can accomplish this. And gosh, I just need all the coffee right now. It's nice looking at this and seeing all my action figures and toys in the background. I kind of like it. But in any case, I'm sure you guys have noticed that online, the internet is very much a wild west for information. How do we know what's true? How do we know what's not? Now, I actually think that there's several really big culprits regarding this. First and foremost, we're all a lot more connected than we used to be with social media. The information that we consume is no longer really validated through trusted media sources. And in fact, our attitude towards the media in recent years, and I could talk about a lot of particular politicians who are responsible for this, the actual authority of the media has been severely undermined to the point that most people simply just do not trust the news anymore. Now, you could have a debate on whether this is a good thing or it's a bad thing. Because I think people did used to fall into a little bit of a pattern where they would find a news source and they would just trust it and that was it, right? And now people have a little bit of a mix of skepticism. But the problem is we've all become conduits for information. We now influence each other. Influencing is a very interesting word here. We've all become avenues for the transmission and the reception of information. We share things, we digest things, and we spread it around. Now, this has strengths because we can now communicate in very easy ways and we can be more informed, but it also has some really significant drawbacks. Now that everybody has that connectivity and everybody has at least some capacity to reach out and transmit things to the world, there's a lot of people who simply don't know how to verify truth and how to question what it is that they're seeing. Now, people have always had a capacity to be deceived when it comes to their information. But I actually think the real big culprit here, and I'm returning a little bit to the ideas of Paulo Freire, which we talked about in a little bit at the beginning of the semester. I think education has actually made this a little bit worse. And here's why. Schools, regarding the teaching of research, have forced upon us an attitude towards information called power browsing. Now, I actually got published, and I like to show this off when I get the chance, just because I've been in a book and it won't show up because of my background. How weird is that? No! Oh, my head! Ah! So lame. what is it about this book that it won't show the book? Like, you can tell this book, I was published in this book, and it was like, I'm fighting with the very reality of this book I'm trying to show you. Like, I promise it's real. See, there it is. How weird is that? I've completely ruined my video, but you know what? We're gonna get through this together. But I got published talking about something regarding this idea. Power browsing is the idea that when a teacher gives a research assignment, we typically do it in a kind of like a narrow focus, right? So we'll say something like, do some research on a historical event, or do some research on a political issue like abortion or taxes. So when we teach these things in a classical way, we say, give me a thesis and give me an opinion, and then support that opinion with the details that you find. There's a little bit of a problem with that, though. The classic way that we teach these essays, where you start with the opinion and you build upon the opinion, has a tendency to facilitate what we call, like, confirmation bias, where I'm starting with my assumptions. I'm starting with my opinion. And instead of allowing the process of research to kind of influence my thought, to kind of like broaden my horizons a bit, I'm very quickly going out and seeking information that simply confirms what I want to know. And we've kind of been teaching students to do that. I had a professor in college who used to actually actively tell us the best way to write a paper is to start with your opinion and build the opinion so that you get like a unity of text, unity in your writing. Now, again, I'm getting a little theoretical here, and I need to stop doing that because I need to try to make this stuff as practical as possible. But my point here is the way that we teach research has kind of facilitated a lot of bad habits that has made it possible for untrue things to be spread around very, very quickly, like wildfire. And a lot of the stuff that we would team, this is the term, fake news. A lot of people use the word fake news to say that it's news that they don't like it's biased, or it has opinion, or like some type of perspective, or an agenda. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the agenda or the bias is a good thing. It's not. But fake news is something much worse than news that has an opinion or perspective to it. Fake news is stuff that's not true. It didn't happen, right? There's a couple of really good examples of this, but I have to be really careful how I do this because it can make a lot of people really, really angry, but I'm going to give it a try. If you want to disagree with what I'm about to say, you can always bring it up in one of our little discussion things. But at the same time, two things. One, going up to the 2015, what was it, 2016? In 2015, 2016, there was a lot of news articles, quote unquote news articles, that straight flat out claim things that weren't true. One was this idea that Donald Trump said that if he ran for president, he would run as a Republican because Republicans are stupid. I got bad news. If you believe that, he never said that. And I like to bring this one up because I fell for that one hook, line, and sinker. And I used to tell people, oh, I couldn't believe that people would vote for this guy because he said they were stupid. He never said that. That was completely 100% fake. And I remember having a conversation with a good buddy of mine, and he was like, gosh, all these Trump supporters saying that they're voting for him after he called them all stupid. And I was like, dude, I got bad news. He didn't say that. That is straight up fake news, boyo. And he actually defended this, and he was like, but I saw the video. I'm like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. He never said it. And there's a lot of people who hold on to this right now as hard as they can because it's confirming what they already believe about a person. Ted Cruz has recently had something happen to him in this regard. I'm not going to comment on, Ted Cruz right now, but there was an article that was going around that said that Ted Cruz said he would never believe climate change, even if Texas froze over. And a whole bunch of people were sharing this article and being like, Texas froze over. Ted Cruz never said that, right? when people find something that's not true, but it confirms something they want to believe, they'll hold on to it and they'll keep believing it, and they won't necessarily question it. Now, just to be a little bit fair on both sides, this also goes to this really strange idea that there's all sorts of politicians out there who are eating babies. Like, this is a very popular like conspiracy theory right now, where and I'm not even going to talk about which side. I mean, I think you guys have probably heard of this stuff before, but that's not happening, right? It's just not. There's absolutely no evidence for it, but people still share this stuff, accusing people of doing all these just very strange, outlandish things. This should set off alarm bells for us to say, well, that sounds kind of out there. I don't believe that. But again, think back to the way that we've been teaching students. We teach students that to write a paper, to formulate an idea, you're supposed to begin with the opinion and look for things that support it. And then they end up writing a project that builds upon an idea that they had in the first place. That's a really bad idea. We want to treat research in a way that we digest new information. We allow ourselves to be convinced by what we find. We let ourselves and our perspectives grow, right? So I've been really, really rethinking the way that I teach research, because this is causing a great deal of problems. And I think, again, going back to Paulo Freire, education itself might be perpetuating some of this because of the way that we teach how research and information should be digested and how it should be communicated. Now, here's what I want you to do for this week. I want you to find an article. I want you to find a piece of information, something online, but I want you to try to find something that you think is not true. Not true, right? I think this could be an interesting exercise in this, because oftentimes in research, we are geared towards finding things that we are automatically assuming is correct because we're supporting our own assumption, right? So if we go out and we try to find and locate and identify things that we do not believe are accurate, let's see what happens. And this only has to be like, share a link, and give me some sentences on why you think it's not true. Don't be afraid to be incorrect on this, okay? If you think something's not true and you try to give an explanation as to it being, and it actually does turn out to be true, it's not like I'm going to take points away from you or anything. This is just simply a thought exercise that we might build back on to do more writing on later. But it's the first time I've ever done something like this, so let's try it out. Find me something that's not true, and let's see what you come up with. Maybe 5-6 sentences, and we might go back and work with this a little bit more later. This is a good copy. I think I'm going to start this in a forum titled Assignment 3. I know, not very creative, but I don't have enough formal name for this assignment yet. I'm still tooling around with it. Anyway, if the video quality on this is good, I might keep it. I really like my background effects. Hope things are going well. And how on earth do I get this? I promise this book is real. It makes me so happy. It's so stupid. Anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. Stop recording. Yes, stop. Stop.